Hey guys, Ivan here with the Old School Labs, and we are starting this video with very interesting news. As you can see right here in this photo, Mr. Olympia and Athleticon, two biggest shows in the world. Athleticon is soon to be, it never happened already, but the prize money is gonna be big. So, two biggest shows in the world are gonna happen at the same time. So I'm guessing you already heard about the new date for Mr. Olympia. It's gonna be October 7th to 10th. And as you guys know, 7th would be like the expo, 8th would be the press conference, and 9th would be the pre-judging, and 10th would be the finals. So that's Mr. Olympia, it's a new date. But if you go to Athletic on their official website, you will see that they are set for 9th to 10th October. The location for Mr. Olympia is gonna be the same as the previous one, Orlando, Florida. And Athleticon is going to happen in Georgia, in Atlanta. So, we have two biggest shows in the world happening at the same time. A good question here is who did this actually? Who did set the date second, after the first one? So I haven't checked the Athleticon website, obviously, why would I? Anytime recent. And I haven't seen since when was the date for Athleticon 9 to 10th October. But Mr. Olympia set their date only yesterday. So I'm guessing Mr. Olympia did it. And also Mr. Olympia is of course much stronger than Athleticon. Athleticon being the show that never happened yet. So I'm sure the bodybuilders will go for Mr. Olympia unless Athleticon offers like twice as much money. And I don't think that's going to happen. They're probably going to have similar amount of money offered. I heard some rumors about the winner of Athleticon is going to get $1 million or close to $1 million. But even if the winner of Athleticon actually got those $1 million, would, for example, Big Ramy risk his Mr. Olympia title, being the Mr. Olympia champion and go and compete at the Athleticon for, of course, double the money, but still losing the Mr. Olympia title, it's risky business. It really gave him a lot. I'm sure he got a lot of money for the new contract that he signed being the Mr. Olympia. So I think Athleticon won't like this, and they'll probably have to change the date since Mr. Olympia is probably trying to push them out. I don't think they are doing this after Mr. Olympia made their dates because Mr. Olympia is stronger. I don't think Athleticon can offer that much money to persuade the other top bodybuilders to actually give up on Olympia into the other shows. And this would also be very bad for the fans because people wouldn't be able to go and watch both shows. They would have to choose one. So I'm guessing the ones that are closer to Orlando would go to Mr. Olympia and the ones that are closer to Atlanta would go over there. But then again, most people will probably just go to Mr. Olympia because Mr. Olympia is Mr. Olympia. So we'll see what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure the dates are going to change eventually. I don't think they would do this. I don't like this. It's fun to think about. Like they're being rivals right now. If they go that way, maybe it can be interesting. But I would like to watch both shows. And I would like to watch all top bodybuilders compete twice in a year, So there is that. Whatever you guys think, tell me down below in the comment section. Alright, next we have William Bonac with a video of himself training, doing shrugs most likely. And in this photo, he added a description saying that he just learned that Mr. Olympia set a new date, and he doesn't say anything about Athleticon. I don't know if he heard, but yeah, it's at the same time. And in this photo, he says that he's gonna change the tactic a little bit, same goal but different approach. And he started training seriously finally. So he took some rest, which is smart. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He is known for consistency. He always brings good conditioning. He never really fails with it. So I'm sure he knows his body, and I'm sure he's going to have good longevity in this sport. So yeah, taking that rest after Mr. Olympia, that was probably smart. I'm sure it was. He doesn't need to make any kind of improvements to his physique. He just needs to come more conditioned, and that's it. Just to peak better, and that's it. Like, he has all the muscle that he needs. He knows that. So I don't know if he's going to change his plans, if he, has to actually choose between Mr. Olympia and Athleticon, but I don't think he will. I mean, he has been trying for so long. He was second last year. This year he kind of failed a little bit, taking that fifth spot, but he can get back. He can climb back. I guess if it happens, actually, this thing with Athleticon and Olympia, Phil Heath will compete at the Athleticon if he's not retired at all. So that's gonna be one more chance for Bonac to actually climb up that ladder. But there will also be some other dangerous guys getting in, and we're gonna talk about them, some of them as well, such as Flex Lewis, Roelly, Winklaar, Shawn Rhoden, and the others. But I'm glad to see William Bonac training hard and actually mentioning Mr. Olympia and saying that he's focused again on improving his placement, his physique, his different approach. I don't know what changes is he making this year, but hopefully he will come something close to what he looked like at the 2019 Arnold Classic. That was my favorite look. Maybe if he can come with that fullness, but just a little bit sharper, or the same, like that. I think that was his best ever. I don't think he can get much better than that. So, as I said, also Roelly Winklaar, he is the guy who is training really hard recently. He has posted so many videos, so many photos. I kind of thought that Roelly was one of those guys who lifts light, but with a lot of reps, like supersets and stuff. Maybe he does, but when these guys are this big, then they are strong, guys. When you have so much muscle, that muscle is not just standing there to look nice. It has some strength, and Roelly here is doing some safety bar squats with 5 plates, and this is heavy, guys. This is some heavy stuff, heavy squats. So, I mean, I didn't see him squat. Maybe he's doing quarter rep squats, maybe he's doing 1 rep or something. We haven't really seen a video, but I've seen him squat once, and he went really deep, maybe like too deep, throwing himself on the ground like Tom Platz kind of style. And it was also very heavy. And this is him doing back squats, and I'm sure he's lifting this with a lot of reps and with full form. So Roelly Winklaar, and he also is saying in every photo, in every update, that he's coming for it all in his hashtags. He's focused. He means business. He's training super hard. So what does he mean when he says all? Well, if Mr. Olympia and Athleticon happen at the same time, he cannot get both of them. He's going to have to choose one or the other. And I'm guessing, again, it's going to be Mr. Olympia for Roelly. He was also very close to winning it. He was third, 2018 Mr. Olympia, beating Shawn Rhoden and Phil Heath, who didn't compete the next year, but he failed with conditioning the next year, and Brandon took it. So he was very close in a way. I predicted him taking that Mr. Olympia title in 2019, so I'm sure he's going to go for that. And before that, he's going to compete at some of the shows and qualify. Maybe the first show this year. I believe that's Indie Pro. Next, let's talk about Shawn Rhoden, who also updated us with a leg workout, a crazy leg workout. Maybe not that crazy, but the number of plates that he put on the leg press, we're going to see it later, is rather large. Here he is doing some reverse hack squats, call them whatever you will. The form is decent, he's going pretty deep for his standards, and it's pretty heavy as well. So he's training, I mean, he has good legs, he doesn't really have to punish them too much. And the glutes, but he still is. And sure, why not? I mean, make your strong points stronger. And I think he has one of the best legs that I've ever seen in bodybuilding. So here he is, training very hard, eating a lot of cookies though. So he's kind of staying pretty chubby in the off season. You can see his face right here, it's pretty bloated. But Shawn Rhoden is known for that. He gets relaxed in the off season, and then later, when it comes to prep, he gets conditioned out of his mind. Here is the leg press, but the depth is rather questionable, and he's using his hands to assist his lift, and it feels like he can do 100 reps like this, at least. So yeah, it's a lot of weight, but it's not really good form, like he's not going very deep. Never mind, he knows what he's doing, he knows his body, and that's why he's the Mr. Olympia 2018. Who am I to tell him how to do the leg press? Apparently it works for him. Hopefully we will see him at Mr. Olympia or Athleticon. There is a new video of Hadi Choopan deadlifting. Not a lot of it. This is only 6 plates. For a guy of his strength and his size, it's really not that impressive. And he's also using the pads, so it's not really a full deep deadlift. And he's getting applauded. Like every time he does any kind of heavy set, there is videos of people applauding. I don't think this is necessary, really. It's not that impressive of a weight, but yeah, he's training hard. I like to see that. And this was more impressive, way more impressive. So he's doing rows with a pad on his chest with 4 plates. Not a lot of reps, though. Anyways, what do you think, guys? Would Hadi rather go with Mr. Olympia or Athleticon if he has to choose? is he really all about the title, all about the fame, like being the Mr. Olympia? Is he really that big of a fan of the tradition of bodybuilding and Mr. Olympia? Or is he in it for, success, money, whatever? So if there is two shows, one is paying more and one has bigger history, what would he choose? What would you choose? What do you think Hadi will choose? I don't know though. I guess I can make a pretty good assumption for the other guys that I have been following for longer, for years, that I heard talk actually. But as far as Hadi, I'm not sure what kind of a guy he is, what kind of aspirations in bodybuilding he has. If you guys know more about him than me, tell me down below. What do you think? What would he do? Alright, now let's go back a couple of months. Mr. Olympia is not going to happen yet, or Athleticon. But New York Pro is going to happen soon. Before that, Indy Pro. And this is a blessing of bodybuilding. So we're going to do a little bit of a preview again of the New York Pro guys that are going to be competing soon in 12 weeks, 11 and a half, 11 weeks. And as you can see, this is a blessing at 10 weeks out of Indy Pro and 11 and a half weeks from New York Pro. And I'm sure you guys saw this photo. It's been around for a day or two. But did you see this one? Blessing didn't post this. He sent it to this guy. I mean, this is a very famous Instagram profile that does bodybuilding updates. You can follow this profile. It's a good profile for sure on Instagram. And here you can see what Blessing is looking in a front double bicep. And guys, this guy is aesthetic as hell. Like, he looks like a new Flex Wheeler type of a bodybuilder. Really, I mean, he has the round muscle bellies, he has the completeness, he's big, he's getting really heavy in the off season, so I'm sure eventually he's gonna be a size freak. Right now he's also kind of a size freak, but I'm sure he's gonna be like in his 250s on the stage. But give him a couple of years, give him 5, 6, 7 years, and I'm sure he's gonna be up around 270, 280, and on his frame, that's gonna look good. Up to 290, 300, we'll see. He's kind of, I mean, he's not tall, but he's not short, and he has a large frame, and he has the muscle bellies, the full long muscle bellies, really round physique, really aesthetic physique. I mean, symmetry, proportions, balance, everything is there. So at this year's New York Pro, I don't see him doing better than top 3, honestly, because the other guys are just bigger and more matured, like Justin Rodriguez and Nick Walker. But then again, for a pro debut, I mean, he's doing Indy Pro first and then the New York Pro. So yeah, New York Pro is not going to be a pro debut for him, but it's only happening in 2 weeks apart. So kind of, it still is. He's still a new guy in pro ranks. You don't really know what to expect of him, but he looks amazing here. And I'm sure he's going to be in the top 3, top 4, we'll see. Maybe he wins the shows. Who knows? How conditioned will he be? And how he looks when he's super conditioned, if he gets super conditioned. But he's coached by Chad Nichols, so if Chad Nichols got Big Ramy to be conditioned, I'm sure he's gonna get Blessing as well. We'll see what's gonna happen with that. So I mentioned Nick Walker. Here is him with his physique update. Really nothing too crazy to see this. We already saw this kind of photos of Nick. Looks super freaky. Look at the size of the arm and the chest. This guy is a freak. This guy is a monster, and he is way more freaky to me than Blessing. So we're gonna have kind of a Dorian Yates versus Flex Wheeler type of situation. Bigger, more grainy guy against the guy that is kind of smaller but has nicer shape. And we already saw what happened with that scenario, Dorian versus Flex, and I guess it's gonna be the same thing here with Nick beating Blessing. But is Nick gonna be able to beat Justin Rodriguez? So we got a post from Justin. He just flexed his bicep and he showed us how big his bicep is compared to Blessing's. Who also posted a bicep shot on his IG, and you saw a lot of veins, a lot of vascularity on Blessing's arm, but you didn't see this kind of separation. And this is the maturity that I'm talking about that Blessing doesn't have. So I'm guessing that's why Justin is gonna eventually end up being victorious at this New York Pro, and considering how many times he tried to win a pro show, at this point he deserves it. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like it. If you want to see more, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this whole Mr. Olympia vs Athleticon thing. That's interesting for me. Thanks for watching, guys. All the best and keep it old school.